All right. Okay. So since I am modern day prophecies and esoterics, uh, I will have to be covering this subject at some point. So I'll go to cover it now. Um, Basically, most of the countries we live in have passed their peak in terms of the crisis that's going on right now. So I think now would be a good enough time to see if we can go that extra mile to make sure that we prepare for the next calamity or mishap that will happen with this technology. So I call it malignorance, meaning that I'm not 100% sure if it's just ignorance or malice that's causing these patterns that we're seeing, these colorations between the 5G technology and the current uh, increases in viral infection. I don't know why some areas are showing a coloration to this. Um, we don't know. But anyway, all I know is that, as with everything, we can't just sit there and bitch about things and complain about what's out of our hands. What we do when we're in that situation, especially as people who are followers of Christ, we try to turn negatives into positives. It was the same thing with holy water. People used to go around asking spirits to go and attack others by with holy water. Yeah, I command you to go and attack this person with holy water. But what happened? Um, I'm not going to wait for people to turn up. I don't expect any people to turn up. When you look at the title of the video, you know that people will somehow be discouraged by this technology to make sure they don't turn up. And the timing is all wrong. I don't really care for views, really. This is modern day prophecies and esoterics. So whenever you see this, that will be when you are destined to see it. So um, back to the subject matter. As with holy water, it's something that pagans used to do to curse people and to summon demons to make them, to command demons to go into people. But then holy people looked at this and they said, well, we can use that to actually com- command a good spirit to go into others to heal them or to get rid of the spirits with the same method. That's the same thing with 5G. If there are adverse effects, we got to look for a way of turning it into holy water. How do we do that? So there's many ways that we can think of doing that. Many ways. Obviously, what they're doing, they're looking for frequencies that cause harm. They've looked at rats and other animals, and they've tested them over a relatively long um, duration of time. So if a rat has a lifespan of 1 year, they will test it for, maybe they will expose it to radiation for 3 months, which is a relatively long time. That's like being exposed to radiation for 30 years for a human being. And then they see the adverse effects. And then there's human beings who have been in, I'm sure you know the research, human beings who have been in situations where they're exposed to high levels of microwaves, and they've noticed that certain frequencies, so they know the frequencies, certain frequencies will give you headaches. Yeah, certain frequencies will make you lose your ability to concentrate. Certain frequencies will make you lose your ability to remember things. So they know which certain frequencies, yeah, give you these adverse effects. They might, one hand might not know what the other is doing. So the people who done that research might not be involved in the process of installing this technology. But we don't really care. We call it malignorance. It could be ignorance or malice. We don't care. All we know is that we're going to turn that 5G into holy water. And how do we do that? Yeah. So when they did their studies, they looked to see if it is harmful to fauna, animal life. Yeah. So they look for the frequencies which will harm animal life. Yeah. It's a bit like when I found out that my meditation can, how should I put it, affect uh, uh, electromagnetic based devices. My laptop is electromagnetic based, and I can stop the timer on it, and it's not nothing to do with lag. And because I check and I do a virus scan, and you can check one of my videos in the experimental data set was deleted by YouTube because I don't remember deleting it. And that's the one that shows you, it's the last video I did. That's the one that shows you why I stopped taking the experiments. Because they hacked into my computer and they affected my virus scanner where it couldn't finish the scan. I always would run the virus scanner before I start the experiment, and it couldn't finish the scan. Yeah, so I said whatever data I get is compromised. So I stopped doing that experiment with that in mind. But I do know that when I meditate, I do affect electromagnetic based devices that run on electromagnetic would you say power or signaling. Yeah, so any of those devices that are near me, yeah, when I start meditating, I appear to be affecting them. I couldn't conclude whether this is the case. There were still some other things to eliminate, which could be possible causes, because I couldn't call this a controlled environment. You know, I haven't. You can never really have 100% controlled environment. You're a human being. There's got to be something that you miss. Yeah, you might say I've have a controlled environment. I've eliminated I've eliminated temperature fluctuations, pressure fluctuations, velocities, displacements. But there's got to be a variable that you forgot. Yeah, you haven't eliminated gravity, the forces due to gravity. You can't, unless you carry out the experiment in space. You can't eliminate the effects of gravity. Yeah, so, and you can never really eliminate temperature, even if you make a vacuum on earth. Yeah, you can never really eliminate temperature. You can't make a vacuum because the walls, yeah, will always be emitting some kind of signal. Yeah, the walls that contain your vacuum, yeah, are made from molecules which are constantly giving off photons. Yeah, if you freeze it to complete absolute zero, yeah, I suppose this is a start, but I don't think anybody's really managed to make a vacuum at absolute zero. I don't think absolute zero is really a temperature we can reach. Yeah, so you could never have 100% controlled environment. So I couldn't conclude that it was my mind that was affecting these electronic devices, and I started fooling around with my laptop before I could get to that point. But anyway, back to the point: how do we turn this technology into holy water? Well, what I suggest is that they already know which frequencies give you headaches, which frequencies give you lack of concentration and memory loss. Yeah, and when you say things that they disagree with, they'll hold you at ransom. They'll kind of like blackmail you. They say you either shut your mouth or we switch on this machine and it will give you a headache or give you lack of concentration or memory loss, because they know how to do that. So we have to eventually work towards trying to replicate that technology. And once we've replicated it, then we need to start trying to figure out what frequencies do the opposite. What frequencies help your memory? What frequencies clear your headache? Yeah. What frequencies help your concentration? We need to start looking at these frequencies. Yeah. So, as with everything they've ever invented, we're like 20 years behind. Yeah. It's going to take because the people who work in this technology will get fired from time to time. Yeah. So they'll become disgruntled employees. So the number of disgruntled employees, if you look at it cumulatively, the number of disgruntled employees that will take for the whole knowledge set, yeah, about 5G to filtrate into the public domain so that we can replicate it. I'm not quite sure, it's quite high. So it will take, I would say we're around 10, 20 years behind. Yeah. So let's say every year you have 5 or 6 disgruntled employees that leave the 5G sector, and they start, discerning information, distributing information about the technology into the public, and then they keep advancing the technology. So eventually we'll have enough knowledge coming into the public arena to be able to replicate this machine. And once we've reached that stage, then we can start testing it, but not testing it for frequencies which will harm others like they do. Yeah, we'll start testing it for frequencies that can reverse those effects. Yeah, it'll be a bit like the Terminator, the original movie, where they had to capture the machine and start using it for their own good. Because like I said, honestly, everything that religious people do are things that we got from pagans. Even the God we believe in used to be part of a pagan pantheon. Yeah, so we took their things and we started using it to help and heal people. Even the medicine we use used to be part of a paganistic ritual. Hippocrates used to take Egyptian surgeries and started to make an oath and said we will use it to heal people rather than sacrifice to certain gods. So this is a technology that's the same. Yeah, these people want to have their way and they want to play God, right? So when you say something that they disagree with, they'll threaten you by saying, right, we'll isolate which tower is closest to you and we'll give it a signal, yeah, that will give you a headache, memory loss, or mess up your concentration as punishment for saying things that we don't like. So that's the direction they're heading in. But I will not be held to ransom. Luckily for me, when I walk, because I told you the first thing I went through before my STPD, psychological disorder, was an awakening. And I woke up with this ability to meditate. I didn't know what it was used for. And this was over 20 years ago. But it's only like in the last 4 years that I've actually started to try and say, well, hold on a minute. If I've got this ability, I might as well enhance it. Yeah, so that's why I was doing my experiments to try and meditate in all these different ways to see what the effects are. Yeah, so if I can mess up the timing device of electromagnetic devices, yeah, the timing app on the electromagnetic devices, then I must be doing something to the signal flow, yeah, in that device. So if they do switch that on, I don't really give a fuck. Yeah, I'll sit there and meditate. I'll meditate for 8 hours if that's what it takes. Yeah, but end result is I'm gonna mess up that shit there if they use it. If I start to notice that my memory is starting to get affected, or I'm getting these funny headaches, or my concentration is being affected, I just start to meditate. I was doing that before even they put on the 5G. I do that anyway. Every time you start to feel like you're losing concentration, you start to meditate. You calm yourself down. You reduce your energy to zero, yeah, and you start to meditate. So when we do finally figure out how to replicate that technology in 10 to 20 years time, we'll then have to get started on finding the frequencies which can counter or reverse the effects that they're threatening us with, because the human race will not be beat. Yeah, the human race we shall not see defeat. Yeah, there's no way we're gonna have one human being ruling another. That's not gonna fucking happen. There's no way we're gonna have one ideology ruling the rest of us. No way. So if they don't like us speaking up and telling them they're wrong when we think they're wrong, and they say, well, if anybody speaks up against us, we'll just use the 5G technology. We'll select certain sequences and attract them with it, which is something that could happen in the future. Yeah, then I feel sorry for you, because when they do that to me, I'm gonna always be talking and speaking up whenever I see wrong. I will always be speaking up. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, because I got this meditation. But for you lot, you're the ones I'm concerned about. Those of you who are targeted individuals. Yeah, you've now formed a community. Yeah, I will liaise with your community, but I'm not part of a targeted individual community, because the concept of targeted individual then community is it's a individual community. Well, I don't know, but that means you're a targeted community. That's how I see it as. So that's on a higher level. Yeah, you're not targeted as you're targeted as individual, but now there's an emergent effect. Yeah, now you're targeted as a community. Yeah, so that's an emergent effect that you have to counter. So anyway, about community counteractions. Yeah, you notice that they're doing they're called experiments, where they have people who are really good at meditating gather up and hold hands and form circles and pray towards a certain thing. Yeah, there's many instances where people have prayed towards glasses of rice. Yeah, in different ways. Yeah, you talk to plants in different ways, they'll grow in different ways. You talk to a plant in a bad way, it will stop growing. It's the same thing with nature. You talk to a volcano the wrong way, it will start to erupt. Yeah, you talk to it a nice way, it will start to cool down. They're even using certain people in America to stop the San Andreas fault from erupt, from producing that big earthquake. It's obvious that that's what they're doing. They get people to sit there and pray that the earthquake doesn't happen. Yeah, that's the same thing. If you're a Christian, that's what you should have been doing with coronavirus. You should just be sitting there praying, talking to it in a nice way, I suppose, like a psi test or a psi experiment, talking to it in such a way that it doesn't get you, or it doesn't come that way, or it doesn't do that to you. Yeah, this is the essential fundamentals of what prayer is. Yeah, is when you talk to. There's a guy who talked to a jar of rice in a bad way. He talked to another one in a good way. And the one that he talked to in a good way just fermented, it didn't rot. The other one had rotted already. So when you talk to nature, natural phenomenon in a nice way, you get a nice response back. So when you talk to this coronavirus in a nice way, that's prayer for you guys who are Christian. You can hold hands and together just whatever. I can't remember what that prayer is. Be like an exorcism prayer, or you could say in the name of Christ, or you can appeal to Christ to help you with it. But you're talking to the virus is a collection of individual, I'll call them molecules, or individual molecules, and collectively there's an emergent property, which is illness. So you're talking to the collective virus population, and you're talking to the collective, just like somebody ran a psi experiment where they sat in New York and they talked to the whole city. They said, Lord, they prayed for there to not be crime, and it actually had an effect. People were doing less crime on that day. It lowered the crime for a bit. Yeah, so you can actually talk to the collective entity in a way where you pray for it not to harm people. And so you should have been doing that. If you had faith, you'd have had faith in this mechanism and should have been praying like that to these things. Yeah, but people didn't end up doing it. So that's one way. Meanwhile, as we wait to figure out how to replicate 5G, and then we'll have to run the experiments to figure out what frequencies heal. Yeah, and try and use those, because they'll be using the frequencies that make us sick, but we can use the same thing, with frequencies that make us heal. Yeah, but this is when I went through my psychosis, I did offer to go and do an experiment to try and figure out how my meditation works, but they kept telling me the same thing. They're not interested in finding out how to defend the human mind, because it's a defense mechanism, meditation. They're not interested in defending it. They're interested in how to exploit it. Yeah. So I said, I'm not going to really be party to that. Yeah. So whatever technologies they come up with, it's been like this everything we do as good people, we got it from them. It's been like this. Everything they come up with, they're not looking to help people with it. They're looking to see how they can control and exploit people. So we need to find out how to thief their technology, not thief it. Thieving is a strong word. How to replicate their technology and find out how to use it for good. So we don't destroy the technology. Yeah, we don't destroy it. Yeah, because in the end, we might need to use it to save ourselves. You see what I mean? There might be diseases that medicine can't cure, but 5G can cure. How do you know? Yeah, there's been situations where people can't be cured by medicine, and they go to exorcists and priests and clergymen who pray over them and cure them with holy water, right? So there might be things that we develop that we can't cure unless we use 5G. Yeah. So we need to figure out how to replicate it, and then figure out what frequencies, because they don't want to ask this question. We need to figure out what frequencies heal, because wherever you find frequencies that kill, I'm pretty sure in the same vicinity, you will find frequencies that heal. If this is malignorance, if they don't know what they're doing, they might run across those frequencies by accident. Yeah. 5G can be healed to cure the whole world. Yeah. Can be used, sorry, to cure the whole world. Yeah. It depends on what frequency you find. Yeah. All we need to know is, all we need to do is figure out what that frequency is. When they've done playing God and they'll fail at that, we just hold on, keep on the straight and narrow, keep righteous. Don't give in to their demands and their blackmail. Yeah. If they threaten you that way, and they said, okay, if you keep saying things that we disagree with, you're going to start to feel tired. You're going to start to get headaches. You're going to start to have lack of concentration, because they've identified which frequencies do that. And they can play that on that machine, that 5G machine that they got, or network that they got. If they do that, first of all, if they've got agents in the field that are around you, they'll be doing their own agents. When they do that, just reduce to zero. Those of you who are Buddhists will know how to meditate. Those of you who've learned meditation through other means, just reduce to zero. Whatever wants you have, you remove those. And you remove your wants. Yeah, like for material things and non-essential things. Yeah, and you put yourself in a state of transcendental meditation. Yeah, because all 5G has no physical threats to you. It cannot affect you physically. There is no physical threat. The threat is psychological. Yeah, it's basically like a voice of God weapon if it's misused. Yeah, all it does is projects frequencies into your auditory canal, whatever they call it, and this acts like NLP, or voice to skull. It's just another voice to skull, basically. Yeah, and it will just be giving you frequencies that make you sick. Yeah, but you can control what frequencies your consciousness reacts to by meditating. So all you do, you speak your mind, say whatever you want, but remember to meditate after you've done it. Once you've upset people, it's like this. If I was to do a video that's hot, yeah, I know that the next 3 or 4 weeks, yeah, all the people that are in my friends and family circles, not all of them, not the TIs, all of them who are my friends and family circles will feel like the jealousy will be too much for them, and they'll want to do me something. Whenever you do, like musicians, this is good advice for you. Whenever you do a hot tune, you need to go into hiding for 3 weeks, because everybody will be looking to kill you, because that's some hot shit, right? If you do something hot, if I break a world record with my physical abilities, I hide from everyone I know. I spend 3 or 4 weeks without seeing them, just hiding from them, because chances are they'll be wanting to kill you at that, because the jealousy they have and the envy, yeah, they'll feel like killing you. And if you got this 5G, whenever you feel a negative thought, it's just going to amplify it. So whenever you do something that's a success in your life, you need to hide from the people that know you, because statistics show that 80% of the people who are most likely to kill you are people you know. Yeah. So with this 5G, it's gonna go up to like 90%. Whenever you have success in your life, don't share it with the people you know, because as soon as they start to feel jealous of it, yeah, they're gonna want to kill you off. Yeah. So whenever you say something again that you know that the system doesn't like, whenever you speak against 5G, speak against the lifestyle choices that they're promoting, whenever you speak against that, you need to hide from the people you know. Yeah. You see, because with this 5G technology, speaking up against what the system's promoting, even when you know it's wrong, yeah. Stephen Hawking, he spoke up. He said, look, you can't just say because you've chosen a lifestyle or you've chosen an ideology that anybody that says anything that opposes that, or anyone that's looking to investigate anything that could oppose that could challenge that point of view, that you're not going to financially back them, or you're going to basically try and politicize science. He was dead within 3 months of saying that. Yeah. He was dead within a few months of saying that, I think, up to a year, I think. Yeah, as soon as he spoke up, he died. Yeah, the man had managed to survive for years on his machine, but as soon as he spoke up against the status quo, he died. Whenever you speak up against the status quo, just hide from the people that you know, yeah, and meditate. Meditate until that need to mess with you dies down. Yeah. I would recommend 1 month of hiding and meditating. Yeah. Yeah. And not speaking to the people that you know. Whenever you've got a beautiful girlfriend that you just found, you need to hide from everyone you know for a month. You show them one time and then you hide. Whenever you got like a success in your life, let's say you won the lottery, you need to hide from. Whenever you had something good happening to you, yeah, there's gonna be someone in your life that's jealous to the extent where with 5G switched on, they're gonna feel like killing you. Yeah. So those are the effects that we're talking about here. So whenever you do something that is a success, that can be perceived as a success, yeah, by other people, you do what you got to do, get your success, because that's good for your psychological makeup, yeah. But you need to be aware that 80% of people who are going to harm you are those that you know. So it will be prudent for you to hide from those. Okay, enjoy your success, give it time for the jealousy and anger to subside, and then go back and see them every once in a while until that becomes old news. Yeah, these are the coping methods I'm describing here. Yeah, these are the esoterics. Yeah. So anyway, this has gone on for too long. So basically, the plan is to figure out how to replicate 5G and figure out what frequencies can reverse or introduce positive effects into mankind. This technology could be a blessing in disguise if we stop running around like headless chickens. Yeah, this could be something that saves lives. If they can use it for harm, we can use it for good. That's it. End stream.